Chef RPG is a life sim RPG where you are a traveling chef given the task of reviving the Sequoia, a once famous restaurant in the small town of White Ash Harbor, which was once a thriving tourist destination. Hunt, harvest, and shop for ingredients. Along the way, you can befriend fascinating locals and help revive the town. Craft your culinary adventure in this open-ended RPG and build your food empire the way you desire. Chef RPG is out now in early access on Steam. I have been waiting for Chef RPG for a while now. This game was actually a Kickstarted game, and I had just found the campaign a day after it ended, so I couldn't back the game, so I've been patiently waiting to jump into this life sim adventure. I won't lie in saying that this is one of my most anticipated game releases of this year, even though it is in early access. I've just really wanted to check out this game, and personally for me, it didn't disappoint, even though it is in early access. If you want to see some gameplay of the game, I played the first entire act on stream, so you can feel free to check that out. The links are in the description, or you can just check out the homepage for my previous live streams. So because this game is in early access, all the content for the game is not currently available. They do have the first 3 acts of the story, but it is not fully complete yet in the game, and there are other mechanics and things that are not available, including characters and various other places that you can go. It also does not currently have controller support, and there are quite a few bugs that I encountered just in my time of playing. Now, they do plan to update this regularly and keep the game moving forward. They do have a rough, on Steam, it says a rough planned full release for the game in about a year and a half, so around 2026. They said there's about 20 hours of gameplay available right now, and that will continue to expand as they do updates from now until that time of full release. I know early access isn't for everyone, and that's totally fair. So if you want to check out the game but you're just not sure yet, be sure to wishlist it on Steam so you can get updates about when it gets updates or when it's fully released. I personally wanted to back the game though as soon as possible, just because the life sim genre is one of my favorites, and I absolutely love seeing devs take that genre and bring something new to it, or something that I haven't necessarily played before, whether it's a different setting or different mechanics or different stories or different pixel art, because you know I am an absolute sucker for pixel art. I absolutely love pixel art styles, and I really love this one for this game. I really appreciated the mechanics of getting ingredients for your restaurant. They kind of took that from something Chef Ramsay said once, that a lot of chefs learn to do that, and I think that's really cool, and it was something that really drew me to the game, that it's unique in the way of running a restaurant, and you're working on getting good reviews or awards, and you're also helping build up the small town of White Ash Harbor at the same time to become more enjoyable for tourists to continue to come and enjoy, make it a tourist destination once again. The environment in this game is awesome, and it kind of reminds me a little bit of the environments in Eastward. They're different pixel art styles, obviously, but there's just something about it that has that charm for me personally, and Eastward is one of my favorite all-time games, and that's a lot of reasons why I was drawn to check out Chef RPG in the first place, because it just looks so unique and interesting compared to other life type sims I've played before, and running my own restaurant is like right up my alley. I love games where I get to do management like that. The characters in Chef RPG are all very unique and interesting, and there are both humans and androids in this game, which was really cool to see. I didn't know that before I jumped into the game, so that was really cool. I chose to be an android in one of my playthroughs, and it's really cool, and even sometimes there are some dialogue changes based on the fact you chose an android, and there are some buffs for being a human and buffs for being an android and vice versa, with some negatives, and I thought that was really cool. The game immediately gets you into setting up your restaurant, collecting ingredients, buying ingredients, and meeting a lot of the characters, which are quite memorable, and they aren't always super excited to see you, which I think is awesome. Even some of the NPCs you can just walk by and talk to, or sometimes kind of mean to you, and I think that's kind of gives it a little bit of a charm that not everyone is just always happy to see you all the time. For me, it just brings a little bit of realism and just a bit more, I don't know, sass to the game, and I just really enjoy that, and I enjoy that not every NPC is going to be just super excited to meet a random person just walking up to them, which would be me just being new in town. The sound design in the game is also really nice, along with the soundtrack. It just gives such a relaxing vibe, and it's really great, and honestly, sometimes the songs get stuck in my head that are in the background because they're just so nice, and I enjoy listening to them as I'm walking around. The best thing about Chef RPG though is that you can do things your own way. Your restaurant and your menu are completely up to you. So you can decide if you want to run more of a bar or cafe vibe. You can select different options for your restaurant if you serve maybe more drinks focused, dessert focused, and that's really cool. You could even run a completely vegan restaurant if you chose to, because as far as I know, hunting is optional and you can actually have a lot of control over what your restaurant serves, and I think that's really awesome. I really enjoyed also how the story has been presented so far in the game. It's not really just giving you a ton of exposition at the beginning, like, oh hey, here you go, you've inherited this restaurant, now you know everything. It kind of, over the first act, as you go to sleep some nights, it gives you flashbacks for up to a couple years ago, to a couple months ago, just to kind of show some of your character's background, who your friends are, and also why maybe you ended up here in White Ash Harbor. It also gives some flashbacks of the city, which is really cool because apparently we will be able to go to the city in future updates or when the game is fully released, which I'm really excited to see because city pixel art is just so cool. And after seeing just the town of White Ash Harbor, I just can't imagine how awesome the cityscape is going to look. So I'm excited to go to the city when that does come out. I also absolutely love this aspect of the game that you don't have to save at the end of a complete single day. It's not go to bed and then your game saves. You can save at any time in the game. I don't think when your restaurant's open you can save, but as long as your restaurant's closed and you could be standing anywhere, you can just save the game and exit, which means short play sessions don't have to be rushed. You don't have to rush the day. You can take your time on each day and enjoy your time and not feel stressed out or like you have to miss days just to save the game. And I really appreciate that. I can't tell you how much I don't enjoy that mechanic. I think it's quite old mechanic, to be honest, and I enjoy being able to just save my game wherever I'm at because it's not a real-time game and you get to have those perks of the fact it's not real-time. The game is also not super grindy. I know in the past some people have mentioned they'd like me to mention that some more if there is a life sim or an RPG if it's super grindy. I didn't find this to be super grindy as far as I've played the first act. As long as you planned, like, oh, today I'm going to do all my ingredients today and get all the ingredients I can, and you have days like that between the days that you open, then you should be fine. You shouldn't be running out of ingredients too much. I haven't gotten too much to the point where I've unlocked more about my restaurant because it was just the first act, so I haven't like upgraded it too much at that point. You upgrade it a little bit. It just kind of shows you how to go about doing that. But I haven't done any extra upgrades, so I'm sure you would have to, maybe grind a little just to open your restaurant and get some income in. But as far as I could tell, it's not super grindy from the point that I've played at. So you can play it at your own pace as well. Like I said, you can save it any time in the day, so you can just take your time and collect what you need to open your restaurant, and then therefore you'll make a lot of money from your restaurant. Also, depending on how much staff that you have, you'll also have to pay them, and that would take it out. So you can plan for those things, and you also get a whole lot of stats lists in the game to show you where your money's going and maybe how much money you're making based on the reception from people coming in and how much they enjoyed the service. So you can always buy things to upgrade that. So I didn't find it too grindy. I just found it was a pretty smooth gameplay experience, at least for me. For Steam Deck users, you know that I want to be playing this game on Steam Deck because my favorite way to play is bringing my games everywhere with me. So cloud saves are enabled and they seem to be working well as far as I could tell. There is no controller mapping yet. They said they are working on that as soon as possible. It was supposed to come out at the same time as early release, but it unfortunately wasn't the way they wanted it to be because there are quite a lot of menus that you navigate through. So luckily for Steam Deck, you can map your own controls. So that's what I've done just until the controller support is there in the game. But not everyone wants to do that. So if you're comfortable mapping your own controls using your trackpads essentially as a mouse so you can do clicking, that's what I did, and I find it works well that way with the controls I've come up with. But it is a lot of menus to navigate, so I am still looking forward to an official controller layout. But for now, I got it to work. So if you don't mind doing all of that mapping in Steam to get the controls to work, like basically have the keyboard buttons map on the controller, then definitely go ahead and check it out. I found visually the game ran okay. There's definitely bugs, and I did have a full crash once, just once out of the maybe 5 hours I've played on Steam Deck. I had one crash and it just froze my entire Steam Deck and I had to do a full reboot, and that only happened once. I don't really know why it happened. It just kind of froze all of a sudden. I wasn't in a menu, I was just walking. So I don't know what that was, but I've only had it happen once. But there is no Steam support technically for the game right now, so you know, you can definitely, or sorry, Steam Deck support. There's Steam support. There's no Steam Deck support, so officially. So it's up to you if you want to try and put it on there. I did because I just, you know, I'm impatient. I wanted to see if I could get it to work. It will probably run great once there's more support, and the devs do plan on putting more support for the Steam Deck and controller support as soon as possible, because they do know a lot of people want to play that way. So I would say maybe wait if you don't want to do any fiddling with settings and stuff like that. Then maybe wait. I did find also the font kind of gets squished in a very strange way on the Steam Deck, so it is a little bit more difficult to read than if you're on a PC, where it just feels like it's kind of squishing the font, and it looks like some of the lines are very thin and a little hard to read. So wishlist it on Steam and ask to follow the updates, and when that update does come out, then I definitely recommend checking it out on Steam at that point. But I'll really leave it up to you if you want to decide to do that or not at this point. So yeah, I'm thoroughly excited to continue to play Chef RPG. I will continue to play it. I will do more live streams as more updates come out, just when there's new areas especially and stuff like that. And I will do another big review of the 1.0 release when it fully releases, late 2025, 2026, whenever it is. 2026, I think is what it said, like a year and a half or so. When it is fully released, I will make a video reviewing that fully, the game fully, and letting you know how the full experience ends up being. But there is just so much potential for this game. I mean, sometimes we have to remember some games in the life sim genre have been updated over years, and they did not release the way that they are now, or that people love them now. So giving games a chance to grow and some time to grow, in my personal opinion, is always, you know, the best thing to do. So giving Chef RPG the time it needs to grow, I think, is just going to help this game become so incredible, and I'm so excited for its full release. And I've had a ton of fun with it so far, and will continue to play it, because there's so many mysteries and interesting characters that I want to meet and see. And I also like to see how they change the game throughout early access, and I'm especially excited for the cityscape. I think that's going to look so incredible, and I'm just so excited to see what else is going to be available in this open-ended RPG game. If you want to check out the game, I will leave the link down below for you to wishlist it. And I appreciate you checking out this channel and watching this video. I have a lot of reviews on this channel, and there will be a lot more reviews. I appreciate all of you for your support and giving me a chance to show you games that I really like and talk about them. And also those supporting the live streams, thank you so much. We have a great time over there, and you can feel free to join us anytime that there is a scheduled live stream on the homepage. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to stay safe, hug your loved ones, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye!